Hi, my name is Ellie Deminicao, and I'm a National Sports Media Association intern from Wake Forest University. And today I'm joined by Florida's Sportscaster of the Year, Jamie Say. Jamie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Ellie, thank you so much for talking to me, and I so appreciate the NSMA's recognition of my work. And I am very excited about the dinner, the celebration we're having in June.
Great. Could you just walk me through starting out your path into sports and how you ended up in broadcasting?
Sure. I was always a sports fan when I was growing up as a kid. I'm from upstate New York. I was never much of an athlete. I didn't have that competition bug in me. But I did enjoy spending time on the tennis courts and skiing and stuff. But really, what I was enthralled with was the drama of sports. The Super Bowls, the NBA games, baseball games. So I got hooked on that at a young age. And then I was a teenager, kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life because I feel like there's some pressure when you get into high school, particularly like your junior year. You have to choose what you're going to do because you want to go to college and what am I going to major in? And one day I just thought, it would be fun to go to games, talk about them, and get paid for it. And then it turned out that's being a sports broadcaster. And I had done some high school football PA at my school, and I just loved the announcing part. So I investigated it a little bit further. I was always a news watcher. And so I started paying attention to my local sportscasters a little bit more. And then the national ones, like Andrea Joyce and Linda Cohn and Robin Roberts. And I was like, yeah, that looks interesting. That looks fun. That's what I want to do. I love sports. I'm passionate about it. I want to make it my career. So it was more the sports angle than the broadcasting angle at first. And then I looked at my schools. Syracuse was not far away. I saw its reputation for sports communications. I'm like, okay, that's it. And that's how it happened. And gosh, that's over 30 years ago now, and my career has not disappointed me. I'm glad I made the choice.
That's amazing. And with such
Yeah.
an extensive career with so many opportunities and experiences, looking back, what has been the most rewarding story or maybe even moment during a game on off the air do you think you've covered?
Man, that's a great question because I've been able to interview so many inspiring athletes on every level, from the youth to high school to professional, college, everything. I've covered Super Bowls, NBA games, Daytona 500s. So it's hard to single out moments. I think probably my first Super Bowl, it was the year was 2013. It was the 49ers and the Ravens, and it was in New Orleans. And my station sent me and eight of my colleagues for 8 days into New Orleans to do complete comprehensive coverage. And the buildup of our coverage started at least, a month to 6 weeks out. So we had a lot of stuff done. I mean, that was really eye opening about how you set yourself up for success. It's like, let's do all this work beforehand. So when we get to New Orleans, we can really immerse ourselves in all the things that are happening around this huge game. And we had a couple of specials and stuff. So that was really gratifying. But I got to interview Magic Johnson once, who was my favorite all-time athlete. So that was a pinch me moment. But just amazing being able to tell amazing stories of perseverance. A high school football player who came back from cancer to play in his senior year, and that team, competed for a sectional championship. That kid always inspired me. This group of women who are all breast cancer survivors or going through it. They have a dragon boat team here in Orlando, and just how they lean on each other as they get through. Just stories like that. So it's hard to single out anything. But I mean, and just, even from my younger days, when I first started and I was covering a lot of high schools, just watching some of the girls' teams and how they would run through a brick wall for each other. And it was just so inspiring about seeing these athletes, how much work they put in, how much sacrifice they put in, and how they work for each other. And it really showed me what a true teammate is all about. So like I try and be that way in my station, and it's hard, it's not easy, but yeah, just there's just been so many inspirational athletes.
That's incredible. And a true
Yeah.
testament to the fact that sports goes way beyond just the field,
Yes.
pitch, or whatnot. But
Yeah.
now, as a sportscaster in Florida, with a very passionate fan base and like wide range of,
Yes.
how do you decide which stories deserve a spotlight each night?
That's a great question because Florida is really diverse and we're right in the middle of it, is Central Florida in Orlando. So, and there's a lot of people that move here who have their allegiances to the Pittsburgh Steelers or the New England Patriots, the Dallas Cowboys, the Boston Red Sox, Cleveland Guardians. So it's hard. It's hard, but like a good story when it hits you. So we really try and go hyper local. We cover our events here in Orlando the best we can. Um, Daytona International Speedway is in our market. We've got a huge fan base of NASCAR fans. So we go all out for the 500. We've got a PGA Tour event coming up in a couple of weeks, the Arnold Palmer Invitational. We're there every day because it's such a community event. It really brings Central Florida together. So we look at those aspects of it. And then our local school is University of Central Florida, UCF. So there's a huge alumni base here. So we go after that. And then we can't forget about the Florida Gators, which is the most popular team in the state of Florida. Florida Gators most popular, followed by Florida State. So we do a lot with the Gators. We do a lot with the Seminoles. NFL is kind of all over the place, and it depends. Are the Dolphins good? Are the Bucks good? Are the Jags good? But like I think a good story. We still look for those micro inspirational stories on, say, the high school level, or I just did a story on this 74-year-old grandmother who still runs marathons. She lives around here. Yeah, she's run 96 marathons in her life. Her goal is 100. And I'm like, okay, she's 74. When do you think you're going to hit that goal? And she says, oh, probably 2 years. I need to cut back on my marathons to just two a year. So you just I love those stories of seemingly ordinary people, the non-professionals who do extraordinary things that we all could maybe do if we put our minds and hearts behind it, but we normally don't. So, I think that's how I decide. I mean, just you just know a good story when you hear it.
Right, absolutely. And
Yeah.
so, with broadcasting these stories, obviously live television specifically comes with a lot of unpredictability. So, how do you prepare for broadcasts when things like various changes so quickly occur in real time? And how have you learned to adapt?
Yeah, that's a great question too. It comes with experience. Like with anything, the more reps you get, the more comfortable, but you still get nervous. I mean, you just figure out how kind of to hide it, but also to mentally prepare yourself. I think the most important thing you can do is to organize your thoughts. Don't go in with a jumbled head and try and get all these facts out, but it's like take some time, take a pause, organize your thoughts, and make sure you know what your message, the most important message you want to deliver is. Things can go wrong, and just be prepared. But if you know your content, if you're prepared, you're able to kind of fly by the seat of your pants and keep on that track. Also have contingency plans. If something doesn't work out like you're planning, have kind of a backup plan that you can easily go to, and maybe one or two backup plans. I did a live shot last night. It was at a boxing event, and I was scheduled to interview the promoter. Her name's Christy Martin. She's a boxing Hall of Famer. She's an amazing story. She's really the one who put female boxing on the met back in the 90s, and she lives around here. So I was scheduled to interview her at 6:20, and it's like she's super busy, she's running around, and it's like, okay, I came in with a contingency plan just in case she leaves the room, I can't go get her. Well, I've got this as a backup, and I knew enough about the event that I would be able to fill the time. She came over, and it was fine, but it was just like, you're still a little bit nervous, you're still a little bit anxious, but you just have to believe in yourself that you can pull it off. And remember, it's just live television. You're going to get through it. And the most important thing is just to be as professional as possible and relatable too, because you have to understand that the people watching you, they're rooting for you. They understand that mistakes happen because mistakes happen in their job too. So it's just like, okay, let's just get through it. But yeah, more reps, more preparation, more belief in yourself, and take the time, take a pause to really collect your thoughts, organize your thoughts, and calm yourself down.
Absolutely. And so
Yeah.
taking all of that insight, um, applying it to like students and aspiring sportscasters hoping to break into the industry, what advice would you give to them when it comes to gaining on-air experience and building
Mhm.
confidence and really standing out, especially during the application process, and networking?
Yeah, it's really hard. It took me 6 months to find my first job in television after I graduated. And I thought I had done enough in college to boost my resume. And I worked at the student radio station and I had done play-by-play on the side. And I thought I was a pretty strong candidate, but it took 6 months. And the job that I took initially was in news. It wasn't in sports. I wanted to do sports, but I couldn't find a job there. So it's like, well, I need to get my foot in the door. So I took a job as a news reporter at this one local station. And then 10 months later, a sports job opened up there. So I was able to slide in. So it was like I made my interest clear, but at the same time, while I was a news reporter, it's like, all right, let's get these reps. Let's get more comfortable in how to tell stories with good writing, with good on-air presence, with good video, learning how to do all those things, and asking tough questions, because sometimes news is tough. I mean, some of those stories that I had to cover were tough. Not saying that there aren't tough sports stories, but like on the daily, it's not usually good news. So that really helped. Even if it's not exactly what you want at the beginning, if you can visualize, all right, this is where I can get better, take advantage of that opportunity. Um, be patient in the application process. Don't be afraid to email people a lot. I get a ton of emails from college students or people just out of business, and I don't respond to all of them depending on where I'm at in my job, how busy it is. But if they take the time to email me, usually I email them back with some feedback. So, some people are like that. So seek people out who will help you. Network, like, don't be afraid to network. Do not be afraid to email, reach out to news directors. They expect it, and they're either going to read the email or not. But there's no harm in trying. Remember that there's no harm in trying, and it can really lead to something. Look for internships at your local stations or any place, because stations will hire you. Our number 3 person in sports was an intern. And when he graduated, he got a job at our station. He wasn't, he had graduated maybe a couple months prior, maybe 2 months prior. We had an opening. He applied. We knew who he was. It's like, yeah, come on board. And he's working in market number 15. He's been with us now for over 5 years, and he's amazing. And he's really grown. So just take your chances and believe in yourself. Also, like, to hone your craft. If you don't have a job or anything, start your own podcast, start your own passion project, because there are so many avenues now, with YouTube, Spotify, podcasting pages. Like, you can be that broadcaster that you want to be. You just have to start it on your own and make the time for it. You might not get money, you might not get paid for doing it, but it's something. And listen to other podcasts, listen to other broadcasters, see what their style is, see what you like about it, and maybe take some things from them, but craft your own style too. So like I remember during the pandemic, there was a student at one of the local universities here. He went to undergrad at Stetson University, majored in finance. He decided that wasn't for him, so he did his grad year at Syracuse, but it was during the pandemic. And I got to know him because he had played on the football team at Stetson. So he had reached out to me for advice, like how do I craft a resume reel when we're not even meeting in person? So I said, you know what, take your phone, um, go do some fake stand-ups. But pretend they're not fake, they're real because there's a camera here. You can record it, get a mic, get a tripod or whatever, and go do stand-ups. And that's what he did. And he ended up getting a job. I don't know if it was because of that, but it probably helped him think about how to put stories together. So those are some pieces that I would put forth. But it's also like, if this is what you really want to do, go for it. Don't give up without really trying, because it's easy to kind of like get down on yourself when you're not getting feedback, but don't give up until you're absolutely ready. But I believe there's work out there.
Oh, absolutely. As a
Yeah.
young professional also trying to break into the industry, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Of course, Ellie.
Yeah, thank you again for taking the time to speak with me today, and congratulations again on
Thank
your
you.
recognition as Florida's Sportscaster of the Year.
Thank you.